John here, guys, and today we're talking about the Immersion RC Vortex 180. Yes, this is a blast from the past, but due to a possible Amazon pricing mistake, many of us ended up with these for strangely only $40. I personally didn't think these would actually ship, but they did. So let's take a look at just how this ultimate piece of technology from many years past does in 2019. Here we go, guys.
Get that thing hooked up to the...
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. Watch this, watch this.
So, what do we think about this Vortex 180 race quad? It is a 4-inch quad in 2019. Very interesting in many ways. This thing was far ahead of its time. It comes in this retail packaging right here. It's kind of interesting. It has the back of the quad on the back of the box and the front on the front. That's kind of funny. I see what you did there, Immersion RC. So let's just dive in and take a look. The overall design is very interesting. Now, Immersion RC, even with the Helix, kind of before and after this, it had the sandwich design, and this allowed a very clean looking final build with everything tucked underneath. Look at the bottom of this thing. Look at the arm guards. If you've ever owned a DJI Phantom, this design is really also used on that type of a prosumer product. So very interesting. It offers a lot of protection for these little motors, these 1407 X Nova motors. They're especially created for the Vortex. They're 1407 3500 kV, has some really good camera protection for the time. Now, I remember back in early 2017 when this was kind of released, early to mid 2017. You really didn't have too many frames that had this level of camera protection. Remember, we were all racing like Floss V1s back then and just smashing cameras like crazy. This comes with an awesome Fat Shark Immersion RC antenna that'll give you really good reception even on 25 milliwatt. Has an XT30 connector. Now, this is set up differently than just about any of the quad that you've probably ever used. It has the Immersion RC OSD on there. Now, this was prior to Betaflight's OSD being integrated so well that we're all used to today. Back then, you had to install an extra OSD if you wanted some of those features, but the one on here doesn't just allow you to have the information readouts on the screen while you're flying, it also helps you to set up the quad. If you've ever installed and ran Liftoff or Velocidrone, the setup where you map your Tyrannus or controller to the game, where it tells you, roll your stick to the left, roll throttle to the roll throttle up, roll throttle down, and it kind of calibrates and assigns all of the sticks. It does something similar to that. So it allows you to set it up without plugging it into your computer. In fact, the only thing I had to plug it into Betaflight to do was to set my switches, because I like to have a particular, arm and throttle and mode switches set for me personally. But other than that, I had to do nothing. So I wanted to leave this as close to how it comes out of the box. So I really didn't change anything else in Betaflight other than that, but it does plug into Betaflight. I had read that you have to plug it in, or you have to do everything on the OSD and download some special files. You can set it up on the OSD, but you can still use Betaflight, so don't be worried about that. I mean, there's little secrets all throughout this thing. When I got the setup complete, I swear it played Super Mario Brothers on the ESCs. And I don't know how to make it play it again. I wish that was the startup tone, but it's very cool. Now, it comes with 2 sets of these HQ 2-blade props, and I did fly them. They're 4 by 4.5, but they're very loose feeling. In fact, I'd say probably don't fly them. This is not a modern prop. The only modern thing I wanted to put on there was a modern set of 4-blade props. So if you actually use these, which are the HQ 4x4.3 V1S, they fly much better. On my first initial flights, I really thought this thing was very loose. I thought it was just kind of flying around, didn't have a lot of control, didn't really feel that great. And I thought it was due to the ancient version of Betaflight that's installed on the flight controller here. But when I put these on the second or third flights, it tightened it up so much more. It was much more flyable. The 2 blades are just, on this level of power, it's just not worth it. You need the extra grip to be able to fly properly. I did crank my camera almost all the way to the top. I probably should have just moved it up to the top all the way. It has a really cool spring-loaded action in this camera adjustment space right here. Actually, I think it already is to the top. It won't go any further, even though it looks like it can. So that's a really nice thing. As far as batteries, I would recommend using 4S, either an 850 or a 650 pack. Both of those actually work well. I don't feel like I got really much more flight time on that 850. The 650 with a little bit of weight savings does well. The included battery strap, it really won't fit anything larger than this. If you put a different strap on, you might be able to get a 1000, but I don't think there's any way you're gonna fit a 1300 with how these blades go on there. Maybe you could, but it would really just kill everything with weight. And again, this has an XT30, so unless you want to swap that out for an XT60, go with these type batteries. I was easily getting, a good 3.5 to 4.5 minutes on either one of these. Very nice. Now, one thing to note, that these older builds are heavy. This thing is very heavy at nearly tipping the scales at nearly 200 grams on a 4-inch with 1407 motors. That is very heavy indeed.
Whoa, this is heavy.
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
My massive donor 3-inch, now I get that that's a 3-inch, but it's very similar components, has 1507 motors on it, and it is coming in at 145 grams. So that's a huge difference. I also have a Tooth Fairy that's going to be on the channel very soon. I believe that's coming in at like 140 grams also. So you figure you go up to these size motors, this size motor on a 4-inch, your target weight should be about 150 to 160 grams. So this, at 40 grams over that, it's a lot. It is a lot. I mean, 40 grams on a 5-inch build is a lot of weight, and on a 4-inch build, it's even more. But that weight is okay for beginners. In fact, let's face it, I don't think many of us are going to be racing this type of craft, but for beginners, it offers a lot of control and stability in the air. Don't forget, lighter weight builds, can blow around. This isn't going to be doing any top speed runs, but it's definitely very flyable for a beginner. So keep that in mind. What else? It has an integrated loss model alarm that starts beeping the second that you disarm it. So just keep that in mind. If you land it too far away from yourself and it's close to where anybody wants to walk over to it, it has lights flashing, the thing's beeping. People may not know what it is. Who knows? They may think it's something like this.
What is it? What is it, Paul?
Looks like an airplane. Without wings.
That ain't no airplane. Look.
So overall, what do you think about this quad from the past? Coming into 2019, it really is sort of a time travel.
Just become the world's first time traveler. I sent him into the future.
I mean, it's, all of a sudden just, nobody would have bought this. The price that it's selling for on Amazon prior to this pricing mistake, quote unquote, was like $319. At that price, it's absolutely ridiculous. I would say that the true price of this, it's probably worth about $150 to $165. This antenna alone is about $20. These motors alone are about $40. And so that's already $60 right there. Now, when you put to the fact that you have a fully working quad that is great for beginners, this type of frame, although heavy, is going to be quite robust. It's going to be hard to smash it up. You can buy a crash kit that has replacement arms if you did happen to smash an arm, although I'm not sure how you would unless you crashed it straight into a metal pole or something. So I would say that this is great for beginners. Lots of people out there salty if they didn't get their hands on one, quite mad at people selling them. But I think that the community has really responded quite appropriately. I think the value of this is $150 to $165, like I said, but I see many people selling them for around $110 to $130. So they really are passing those savings on to people, allowing them to get out up in the air. This has been a fantastic thing. Now I'm probably going to end up having to sell this. I'm not sponsored for this channel, so as I get things in, fly them a little bit, do a review, I have to sell them in order to buy the next things that are going to be on the channel, so I can't keep it forever. But I will say this is going to be one of those things that's tough to get rid of. I had a surprising amount of fun with this thing. I really expected it to just be one of those things that I was just like, a chore to fly something this old on Betaflight 3.1 something, but didn't have the dynamic filters and all the things back then, but it flew great. It really, really did. Immersion RC, you can't forget that they are one of the most forward-thinking companies in this game. So even though this is a few years old, keep in mind, this was an absolute top-of-the-line premium product back then. Back then, I was probably putting around in a Walkera, rodeo. That would have been about like $150. Versus this at the time would have been closer to $400. This was absolutely worlds greater than that, and I loved that Walkera rodeo. It was actually really great and really awesome to learn on. This is absolute premium. So if you can get the best of the best from a couple of years ago today for less than it would cost you to do your own build, this is great. Give this to somebody you want to get in the hobby. Keep this for a cheap basher. Keep this for something that's not 300 grams. It's not the full weight of a 5-inch quad, and it flies quite nimbly, especially the fact that you're going to be running 650 packs versus like 1250 6S packs. Your all up weight is going to be way less. So thanks, guys. What do you think in the comments? Please smash like if you like vintage retro reviews, and I'll keep doing them. Leave a comment in the comments on what your first quad was or what your favorite quad from years past was, and if you've tried one of these.